Welcome back, everybody, to Trekyards. He is Commander Coffee.
He is Captain Foley.
And today we're getting all dressed up and shined up and spiffied up, and we're going to look all awesome. Or not. But somebody is, some people are, and we're going to talk about it. What are we doing today?
Well, uniforms, and it's not as if Trek has limited themselves on new uniforms recently. New one every year. This, however, is a new old uniform, so it kind of counts. It's a reinvention / canonically what should be there. Strange Worlds is making the just vaguely pre-TOS dress uniform because, of course, it's not actually TOS yet. We've got extensive shots of them in this episode. We're going to compare it and see what we think. And also compared to a little surprise at the end. So, Stuart, here is the Prosecutor with the gold. Thoughts?
Yes. Captain Patel. I am really impressed with these dress uniforms. I think they really stand out and they pop. And they have that TOS feel to them. They've even got the medals and stuff perfect. Or good, anyway. I really enjoy them. I like the addition of some of the collar details and the shoulder epaulets. I think they're really, really nice dress uniforms. These are ones I would actually kind of like to get my hands on, honestly. So there you go. What are your thoughts on these?
Yeah, I think they're a great update, although the epaulets to me feel a bit too cosplay. And when you add so many little other detailings, it feels more designed versus the TOS one, it's so smart. And this is not as smart as the TOS one, I think. It's more showy. I mean, showy could be what you're going for in terms of dress uniform, but it feels more like a costume versus a uniform. But that is not what we're necessarily comparing to, because, of course, this is meant to be a look more details. What is there, though, and that's my clarification, it really does work together. I would take out the epaulets, but that's just me. But I think, yeah, the new detailing there's lovely. Clearly season 3 inspired. Let's add a neck bar.
To be fair, the TOS dress uniforms had like the gold going around the neck. So, I mean, hey.
But not a bar.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yes. But it is very nice. And this is definitely one of the, as Stranger Worlds is doing, is one of the better visual updates without sort of changing the spirit of what it is. So for what they're doing, another home run, just then personal preference of things you like or not like. Here is a direct comparison, though, Stuart, with the Kirk, and also they're both captains. This is a very apt parallel.
I was shocked that actually by the medallions or the medals, how they put them in the same pattern. Now, I've always understood with the tactical manual and things growing up that those are your medals. You can arrange them in any way you want. So for her to have the same shape, I thought was a little weird. You think she might want to change it up or do something different. Plus, all of hers seem fused into one, like it's all like one thing, and that's not the proposed or the original intention of those medals. Basically, there's personal preference as to how you can display them. So,
well, yeah, because it's not a star medal; it's a lot of small medals. There's a distinctness there. But I kind of see it as more as they're magnetic. So she just clips them together, So you just pull them off as you go.
Yeah.
Because
hers looks like one piece of like costume jewelry, whereas the other ones seem to be like individual, like one at campaigns, and you just put them on wherever, right?
Yeah. But like I said, I see seams. I imagine you pull them off. Yeah. I mean, they couldn't not include the medals. There's only two elements of this uniform that make it different, really, and they've done them both right. They've just added stuff on top of that. Yeah, they're definitely made better. The badges. Hold on. We've got a replica here, which I, would not show otherwise. And these are actually screen used, or these are actually original made 60s badges. Just they didn't make the cut to the actual uniforms, which is kind of incredible. So they are just little bits of fabric, right? So they're not high end. What they've made is custom, proper, nice, elements.
Well, it's funny because Kirk's got the star shape, and Spock has what always looked like to me like a Christmas tree, which you If you kind of have on that uniform too, the way you got them laid out, like it's more like a spearhead, I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels a little bit like a Christmas tree to me.
But before we get to Spock, how do you feel about it being a gold uniform and not the green? Because clearly Kirk's was formal green to match his formal wraparound, which they have done the wraparound. It's not as if they couldn't have done green.
Yeah, I never thought about it actually at the time.
Neither did I. But put them side by side, it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I like them both. I really like the green on Kirk though. So I don't have a problem with it being yellow. I mean that's just what people are expecting at this point. I don't think throwing in a green one would have. A lot of people might not have understood that.
They're the wraparound too, though, so you can't.
Oh, we saw it on Pike. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you can't really use that right now. I mean, I'm fine with being gold. I do love the fabric they've used for the Stranger Worlds uniform. It's incredibly the Beyond costume fabric. This kind of thicker, very. It feels weighty, right? It doesn't feel cloth so much as like it's nice, whatever. And I had forgotten that Kirk had the extra lines in his shoulder blades, but I don't know why there's so many lines in the dress uniform. It just looks more because why not versus costume.
That's like the new uniform aesthetic. We saw it in Discovery. We've seen it in Stranger Worlds. They always add the extra like leather or whatever to the shoulders as well, and they're trying to go more fancy than simplistic, which I think might be a little bit of a mistake, but it's that reimagined look, so yeah. It is what it is.
Part of the fun of the old one, the simplicity, was kind of the charm. It was so simple, but it was so different that it just worked. But the next shot, though, is, of course, Spock with a really clean look at the uniform. And in Benga, of course, it's blue, but oddly, his blue is actually a different shade of blue to Spock's blue. So they've made a very harsh distinction between the medical and the science. But you can see two very, very clear comparative looks. What do you think?
Same as what we just talked about. I mean, it's the same but different. And I love that the medical blue is different than Spock's blue in the episode as well. Spock has a more darker blue, I believe. Perfect. Again, the arrangement of the medallions is interesting, very much in line with what Spock has there.
I still maintain the extra lines feel a bit more like he's now wearing an Avengers-style suit, like a super suit, but without the the six-pack. It helps define his body, but it's a dress uniform. Spock, I think, looks better out of the two of them.
That being said, I really like the new ones. I like the way those lines kind of, like you said, define the body a little bit.
Yeah, so that's just personal preference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if I was doing my version, I'd probably honestly just do a direct replica of the Spock, but with the new fabrics, and see how it looked as simple. I think the extra stuff's just kind of necessary.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, Spock doesn't have the gold on the shoulders like Kirk does, the gold pinstripes.
Next shot, though, is a comparison, because we do actually have the Admiral's version as well, and it's worth pointing out because it might be different, it might not be. I'll put it here without necessarily looking at it, because that's what we do on the show. Here we go.
Yeah, again, I think his is longer, too. I don't know if it's quite as... longer. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a longer design, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, the even the darker color of his looks really fantastic. I don't know. I'm really impressed with this courtroom scene overall, just because of all the dress uniforms. They look really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think it really works, that dark color. There's something about that mix that kind of gives it that stark formality, whereas like the red, it kind of feels very costumey. Like I said, the gold it mostly works, but I think the dark's really kind of like. I also kind of think the dark additional details fit well with a dark uniform.
Yeah. And I think too that they added the epaulets to show rank, because there's no way to differentiate rank on the TOS ones, because they don't have the rank sleeve, or the sleeves on the rank on the sleeves, as I should say. But these ones you can definitely tell the rank by the epaulets, which is great. That's a good idea. But then again, as a dress uniform, do you really need to have the rank represented? I mean, you would think so, but not needed, I don't think.
That's clearly the technicality of what they're going for. But I think this picture kind of symbolizes it. Dress uniform, formal, hands behind your back, classic format. I happened to find two images that happen to be that. You would not know their rank because it's being hidden. So that actually might have been the logic. If you're saying to attention, you can't see the rank, you've lost a factor. Even though I think it's a bit obnoxious putting it here, it functionally now it helps. I just don't think you need that outer gold. It's just so big. It's just not that really sleek. something. But yeah, I mean, structurally, functionally, because if it had the rank here, that would have just been Discovery again, and it'd have been odd for them to design the thing from 850 years in the future. Even though I feel that connection to it very strongly from that collar piece, which doesn't seem to look any different, right?
The other thing that holds true and yet is different is the material they use for the stripe down the front. I kind of prefer the old TOS material or fabric for that one personally, but the new one having like that patterning looks nice, cheaper looking, like you said, more like a costume or like a cosplay. The other one feels a little bit more weighty and a little bit more real. So
it's funny because that's not clearly not the jacket doesn't open at the front, right? That's just a line of detail. Whereas on the Spock's one, that's where the seam is. There's a certain structural. It's like about the calm one. It pulls from there, so that it has a push out vibe because it literally is where the seam is. The new one, it's just let's just put a line detail because it's lost the intent behind the line almost. You know, it's like in future uniforms, the line follows the seam of the uniform. There is no seam there, so it just feels like a line. I think the pattern's kind of cool, but I think it's less sci-fi. Even it's literally as you could argue like sci-fi square, sci-fi whatever's. Yeah, the old one has a really nice texture, and like I said, I've got one right there. It's lovely. It's lit. You know, it pops in a way the other one kind of blends in more. And last of all, I wanted to do something kind of interesting because we do actually see comparative uniforms with dress uniform in this same era, very give or take, only a couple of years. In the Kelvin timeline, both the Admiral and Knox. We do know that Epaulettes started coming in with those films, so I just want to compare them. So yeah, here is the standard dress uniform and the Admiral's.
yeah, TOS is the outlier as far as the epaulettes go. But high collars are the thing all around, which I guess is the more formal look, which is I think one of the reasons that we love the TNG uniforms after they got the collars, as opposed to when they didn't. It just looks more formal and more, but yeah, wow. I mean, Admiral Marcus's looks very much motion picture era. Like I could see just Kirk wearing that in the motion picture because it's pretty much what he did wear.
So these aren't far away timeline-wise, just different universes.
Yeah, and again, they got the rank. Like Admiral Marcus has all the showies, and Pike has, well, it looks like 4 stars. So Captain, or Pine, Chris Pine.
Pine Kirk, yes. And it's interesting, though, that by having those lines, that does look close to me like the other Admiral's uniform, Strange New Worlds. Having those lines, they kind of give that body shape. Well, there it is. I wonder if they're inspired by this uniform.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because it's, I mean, you argue there's some lineage here to pull from, etc. But yeah, nothing similar apart from that. They're clearly just naval uniforms, right? They're just jackets. There's nothing really to. But I want to include them because we're not many years off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Strange New Worlds uniforms, dress uniforms. Always great to see new stuff, but yeah, reimagined, very much a paying homage and just using it as inspiration, the original. And I think that's fantastic. They're doing a good job with that. So visually inspired.
Yeah, and now they're made for the entire crew. The whole cast got them, or at least most of the cast got them. So use them again. More episodes in these uniforms.
So comment down below what you thought about these uniforms or anything that we said. Please let us know your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things you need to do. Click the notification bell icon and join us for lives so you can talk to us in real time.
And if you want to support what we do here, there's a couple of great ways. For example, Patreon, it's monthly. Any amount, for any amount of months, helps a lot. Or join the channel on YouTube, find a tier, and be part of the fleet at the end of this video and all the videos. It never changes, as your postings might be. Oh my god, you're on the Enterprise. Oh my god, you're on the Defiant. Oh, hey, join and find out. Or one-time donations at trekyards@hotmail.com. That is the PayPal. Or you can super chat on any of our lives. If you see us live, jump in and show your support with a couple of bucks and say hello. Or super thanks on any video. There's a little button you can press and it'll support the channel right now.
That's right. So until next time, here's Commander Cockings.
Bye, guys.
Bye.